Well, hello. Welcome to our live. It's December the 14th, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we're going to do some dream interpretation today. So as you're hopping on, let us know where you're going to be coming in from, and we'll see where we end up with our dreams today. So this is always a lot of fun when we get to do the live interpretations. As you're getting on, if you're going to be putting in a dream, obviously it has to be a little bit short. We're limited in uh, the the number of words that you can put in your comments. So find one of your shorter dreams that you'd like to get interpreted and put it up into the comments. What I'll be doing as I see comments of dreams, I will go ahead and give whatever interpretation if I have one for that. And then each time I finish up, I'll just be looking for the latest comments to catch the next dream. And so there's a little bit of lag. So if I miss your dream, please feel free to go ahead and copy it, and then you can repost it as we're wrapping up towards the end of each dream. And hopefully we'll be able to get to a number of these and see where we're at. So welcome in. Looks like we've got Buffalo, New York. Katie, it's great to see you. Glad you're in. Crystal, welcome. We've got Toronto, Canada, North Carolina. We've got Jamaica, Panama City, Florida. We got Angie from Detroit, just ordered the Dream Elements book. I've got it sitting right there. It's always weird figuring out where to put the finger to look in the right place. So our Dream Elements book. So that's great. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you let us know what did we miss? What could we add to it? We're always looking to improve. And so we're starting to put together some of the elements that we didn't get in that book. So we may be making an addition, or maybe just doing some videos to have some of those that we missed. Well, let's jump into some of these dreams. Wow, we've got Australia on. Welcome. So glad that you're here. So let's start with Karen. So Karen, first off, it's great to hear from you. It has been a long time. I hope you are doing well. Let's see. I had a dream. I was standing in my kitchen with the youth pastor. That's a very short dream. So we've got a couple things. The kitchen is, it's this place where you're putting together food. You're kind of causing things to happen. Food often talks about spiritual nourishment, spiritual growth. It's a place to receive spiritual things. It's kind of place where stuff is prepared to be presented. And then the youth pastor. So there's a lot of questions when there's not a lot in the dream. So it doesn't say that you were feeding the youth pastor. It doesn't say that the youth pastor was feeding you. It doesn't say that you were preparing food with the youth pastor, or that is just that you were in the kitchen. So there may be something for the youth pastor, but this is probably a little bit more for you. Just letting you know that you're in a similar place in your life as the youth pastor. Now, what's interesting is it's your kitchen, not just a random kitchen. So maybe there's some things that he's going through that you've gone through, some things that he's learning or she's learning that you have learned in the past. Without more detail, it's not really clear exactly what is being said with that. All right, let's see. New comments. And okay. Well, hey, I just clicked on the first one, and then we got another dream from you as well. This one has a little bit more detail, so this might be helpful. Let's take a look at it. I had a dream. I was in my kitchen with the young adult pastor. I went downstairs to take a shower, back upstairs, downstairs again with the intention to take a shower. When I got back upstairs, we were in the dining room. He told me my Holter monitor needed fixing. I noticed he had one on too, and he had on a suit too. A Holter monitor. Wish I knew exactly what a Holter monitor is. But so we even if I don't understand that piece, let's see if we can get some pieces on this dream, and the meaning of that might add something to it. But the idea of taking a shower is just realizing there's some internal, there's some things that you need to be cleansed. So that's talking about some area of repentance, maybe some inner healing, something that is being cleansed. It's not necessarily in you that you need to get out of you. It's just stuff that's got on you as you're walking through life, that's going to get washed off. So upstairs and downstairs, that you've just been in this place of different levels spiritually. The young adult pastor. So, because you had this other one with a youth pastor, now this one is a young adult pastor. I wonder if this is just talking about different time periods in your life. Sometimes the person in your dream can represent a time period, either because they're from that time period or they minister to that time period. So a young adult pastor may be talking about some of those things that need to be dealt with, or actually from the season of your life when you were a young adult in that season of your life. So Holter monitor, and again, I wish I knew exactly what that is. It's not something I'm personally familiar with, and without Googling it and taking that time, which I don't want to do while we're on a live, what does that do? It seems like it's something that you're wearing. So what is the purpose of it? That'll tell you, but that's the particular area that needs to be worked on, that God is pointing out. Okay. Holter monitor is to do with the heart. So it's a heart issue. So somebody, Donna, thank you for letting me know that. That's very, very helpful. So it's some type of a heart issue that God is pointing out. It just needs to be adjusted. So that's cool. Esther, let's see. Here's your dream. I see this boy that I know and his dad sitting in a beautiful light blue classic convertible. Dad is in the front and the kid is at the back. So beautiful light blue classic convertible. So some type of ministry, something that they're doing to get from where they're at to where they're going. Some type of a transportation that it's talking about. Beautiful light blue. Light blue will often talk about the will. So it's their desires, their wants. But this is a positive thing. So that is an aspect of the soul. There can be negative meanings in some dreams, but in this dream, this is a positive thing. So this is really good. And the fact that it's convertible, that it's open to the heavens, that there's an openness to heavenly mindsets in the will that the Father has, and the Father has driven in his life, but the Son, the boy, is also has the same thing in their life. So that is an encouragement and a way to pray over them. Grace John, outside of my dorm building at college with my mom, Captain America and Hulk. Okay. Asked to take a picture with them. Robert Downey Jr. sneaks up, surprising me. He takes a pic too and asks if I want to grab something to eat with him. Okay. So dorm building at college. So my question is that where you're at right now? Is that your current season, or is that from a previous season? It feels more like it's a current season. So I'm going to go with the idea that that's where you're at right now. So this is talking about the current season that you're in. You're starting to recognize that some of the people that you're interacting with have amazing gifts, and you're actually included in that, and you have great favor in that environment. So you have the idea of Captain America, Hulk, Robert Downey Jr., which is Iron Man. You've got this whole thing of superheroes that have amazing gifts that are doing good things with them. And you're in an environment where you're around other people that have amazing gifts that you really look up to, but you're actually included in this relational circle. So it's not said in the dream, But just knowing how this works, part of what you're going to be realizing is the gifts that you have that you bring to the table as well. That is a very encouraging dream. No, it is a previous season. You're no longer a servant. Very helpful. Thank you for clarifying that. All right. So it's saying, instead of being in the season that you're in now, it's talking about a season that you were in. So same meaning, just the application of the timing is what changes, realizing that was a different season. Okay, Donna Reynolds. Donna, you said I jumped into a silver truck to escape a sick lion. The lion jumped in the back of the truck, then the back seat of the truck, and then laid down beside me. Tried to get it help, anxiety. Okay, so basically, you've been trying to escape something. And the issue is anxiety. So the lion is some type of a spiritual power. Lions to the positive, their spiritual powers; to the negative, their spiritual powers. The biblical record uses both positive and negative, talking about lions. But if it's a sick lion, it's probably not a positive lion. So there's something that's unhealthy, a spiritual influence that's unhealthy that you've been trying to escape. A silver truck. One of the other phrases that we use here in the States, and I'm pretty sure you're from the States, one of the other phrases that we use is silver truck is a pickup. A truck is a pickup. Silver talks about redemption. And so you've been trying to figure out how to escape anxiety by looking at redemption. You realize that you need some things to pick you up, to encourage you, to get you to the next place. And you've been trying to escape what you know is a negative spiritual thing, that it's not good for you, and it's related to anxiety. All right. Cece, I had a dream where I was in a place or a building trying to find my way out. Then somebody said to me, Carl, you are Issachar finding your way. You are Issachar finding your way. Okay, so trying to find your way out of where you're at. So the building, it's a situation. It could be a work situation, could be a home situation, could be a life situation. It's very general in this dream. So we're not sure exactly how to dial that in specific into a specific situation, but you're trying to find a way out of it. And you're being given understanding. You're being given that this thing of you are Issachar finding your way out. Now, Issachar is one of the tribes of Israel, but has been made very famous for one of the phrases around the time of David becoming king. It says that the sons of Issachar understood the times and the seasons and knew what Israel should do. So they could recognize the hand of God in the situation and recognize that the right response was to make David king. And so that when it's talking about you are Issachar finding your way, it's saying you're going to be given wisdom to recognize the hand of God in the situation, and that's going to inform the direction that you should go. So that is a very helpful dream for you. Charlie, I apologize not knowing the right pronunciation, but Ms. Nelson. So wild mower, back out of a driveway in front of another car, but didn't crash. There's no crash. And driving down the road, following a lawnmower with no handle. The mower was going from yard to yard through flower beds, shrubs, and up buildings. So a lawnmower is intended to trim up grass, but this thing it's violating boundaries. It's hurting and affecting things that it shouldn't hurt and affect. So you're in an environment where you've been able to miss conflict with other people where there was the potential for conflict, but you're also seeing how someone else that is just gone wild, they have a gift to help, but they're actually using it to harm and to violate other people's boundaries. They're just going from yard to yard, just crossing the boundary lines. So they're violating other people's boundaries, and they're causing damage. And you're observing this happening. It's not your lawnmower. You're not causing it. That's not talking about you, but you are seeing it. You're observing it. So whether that's something that you're currently observing and you know who that wild lawnmower is, or that's something that you're going to be seeing, that is not clear in the dream, but that is letting you know that that is going to happen or has happened. Okay, Elizabeth. I'm standing at my front door. There's a warm, dry wind blowing from the south, and my work Tahoe goes to its back on its hatch, pivots counterclockwise. I think you meant to say counterclockwise. In the street, it goes reverse. Wind doesn't affect me or my home. Okay, so this is very, very helpful. So wind can talk about adverse situations, difficult things. Winds blew in a couple of the plagues from to Egypt, and this idea of judgment coming with an east wind. That is, now this is a south wind, I know, but that was one of the pictures that was in Scripture. So the idea of this going on, it's a spiritual situation. Wind, it's invisible, but you can see the effects of it. So this is spiritual forces that are changing things, that are shifting things. It's not going to affect your home. It's not going to affect you, but it is going to affect your work. So this is your work Tahoe. So this is about your job. This is about what you're doing. And it seems like it's going to cause some things to go backwards in the work situation. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because that's what the dream says. And as you see this happen, it'll become very obvious what that is. If I knew more, I would share more, but I just don't want to share more than what the dream says unless I have clear revelation. So I want to leave it without too much commentary. Okay, so Chaz, you put in, I arrived at a restaurant to eat with my family and my car was stolen. Kim Clement loaned me his blue convertible to retrieve my stolen SUV. All right, so restaurant is a place of spiritual nourishment. So you've been in a place that should have been a place of spiritual nourishment, but actually your giftings and your callings were stolen from you. But the Lord is going to use prophetic revelation to restore you back into your calling. So that's what that dream is talking about. That's a fun one. So, the car being stolen, the car, it's what you're doing. It's your destiny. It's what you're supposed to do, your ministry, your work that you're doing. Kim Clement talking about the prophetic. Blue convertible talks about the prophetic. So it's using the prophetic ministry or prophetic minister that's going to help you get back to the stolen vehicle. So what was taken from you is going to be restored through prophetic ministry. That is exciting. Joanna, you put this. I'm standing and talking with a lady, and suddenly I'm pulled a distance away from her, and I pull my t-shirt up in front to show my tummy, and it shows a gold scroll with a gold pin in my tummy. All right, so talking with a lady, pulled a distance away from her. So having conversation. Now the question is, who's the lady? What does the lady represent? Is the lady talking about someone, a person? Maybe it's someone that you know or you don't know, but is it talking about an actual person, or is it representative? Could be representative of a group of people, maybe of the church, maybe of a worldly influence. There's a lot of different things. It's not clear. If you know who the lady is, then maybe that might give you a clue, something that they represent, maybe their name, whether they're a believer or not a believer, whether they're exhibiting the fruit of the Spirit or not exhibiting fruit of the Spirit. But either way, you're in this place of communication, of relationship, and you are supernaturally pulled back, and God begins to reveal what he's been building inside of you, that he's actually been writing something of his glory in you, a gold scroll with a gold pen. Gold often talks about the glory of God. It's something precious. It's beautiful. It's the glory of God that's being revealed. A scroll, it talks about something that's written. The pen talks about something that's written. And so it's in your tummy. It's in your inner being. There's a scripture out of the Psalms that I was just reminded as I said that. It says, you desire truth in my inward parts. And that's literally in the core of my being, in my stomach, in my body. The psalmist, the word there for inward parts is talking about my inner organs. That's the deepest parts of who we are. So it's metaphoric of who we are, but the tummy is metaphoric of the deepest part of who you are. And there's something beautiful that God has been writing in this season that he's going to start to reveal. He's been writing in the last season that he's going to start to reveal in this season. That is a better way of saying it. All right. AMI Company from Granada. So Granada, you dreamt a friend was fixing a beautiful fancy clock for me. Asked what the charge was, and they said $50. I asked if they wanted a $50 bill or two 20s and a 10. They took the 20s and a 10. Okay, so beautiful fancy clock, something about timing, right? That it's something that's precious, it's something that's valuable, but something that's timing. And you have a friend, so that particular friend, it may be about that particular friend, or they may be representative. Now, if in the dream you just knew that it was a friend, but you didn't know what friend, when you're thinking about it, well, like I knew they were a friend, but I can't place them, it was probably Jesus. But if you can remember who the friend is, it's still possible it was Jesus, but it might represent something about that friend. Maybe what do you think of? What's the first thing that you think of when you think of that person? What giftings do they have? What do they do? What's their main calling? What's their name? Their name might be important. Those are the things that you're trying to look at to dial in maybe a little bit more specific. But the main point is there's something about the redemption of time in fixing time, fixing something that was about timing that was not right, that you're going to need grace for. 5 usually talks about grace, and 50 is the year of Jubilee, which is when things are given back to their original place. Is that, again, it's a grace. So 5 and 50, they both relate to this idea of being given back things that were lost, that has not to do with earning. It's about grace. Now, why 2 20s and a 10? That is a really good question. Why not just a 50 versus 2 20s and a 10? It seems like the grace that is needed is not going to be all in one lump. There's going to be segments to it that are going to be revealed over time. So 2 20s and a 10. I mean, I know it wasn't over time when you handed to them, but there's a reason why they were separated into denominations. And I feel like it would go too far to try to figure out what the 20 and what the 20 and what the 10 represented. It's more about the fact that it's not all in one thing, that there's multiple things that come together that's going to release the grace to redeem the time that was messed up, that needed fixed. Okay. Nicholas Rowland. Nicholas, you wrote, family and I were in a public space, high up, exterior wall, all glass, balcony outside. I look outside and see nephew climbing the railing. I ran through the doors to grab him, then saw a fire tornado in the distance. Okay. So this place of glass, right? There's clarity, being able to see what's going on, but your nephew climbing the railing, which is being in a dangerous situation. That the whole thing of climbing a railing, that's a boundary that's supposed to keep the person safe. And so he's doing something that's crossing boundaries that should keep him safe. Now, the question is, what's his age? Is this something that he's intentionally doing, or is this just something, a dynamic that's going on? You know, if he's very young, a toddler, that there's going to be one meaning of that. But if he's a little bit older, there might be some more meaning. And really, it's not the meaning that is different, but maybe the application and being able to recognize what it is and what your response is. But either way, that there's something you're seeing, that there's something that's dangerous, that is putting him in danger. And you, out of compassion, are trying to help him, and you're realizing that there is significant danger in the environment. Now, that's not in the home. That's not there. It's out there. So it doesn't say that it's actually going to be coming into the place where you're at. It's just saying you're seeing it in the environment. You're seeing that outside. A fire, tornado, that's something that's destructive. And you know, why fire? Other than the fact that that's destructive as well. So it's almost like an exclamation point on the destructive, that it's not a good thing, but that it's an outside thing. Okay. Let's see. This is Stephanie Williams. So Stephanie, an eagle descends on me after I float back down to the ground. A parrot was annoying me prior to this. A toucan bit the parrot's beak and flew it up to the eagle. Both birds become scared and fall from sky. So both birds, the eagle and the toucan, or the parrot and the toucan? That's interesting. So eagles often talk about some type of prophetic gifting, prophetic calling, because of their ability to fly high and to see far. And so there's often a metaphor of prophetic ability that is related to that. Scripturally, it can also talk about large governments. Two different places, two different kings are represented in visions that metaphoric visions that the Lord gave as eagles. So that is a possibility. Doesn't seem to fit in this particular situation. Seems more like it's about a prophetic thing. A parrot. You know, the thing about a parrot is parrots imitate what they hear. So there's this contrast between a parrot and an eagle. An eagle is getting revelation. A parrot is just copying what it's heard from other places. And that's been annoying you. So then the toucan, and why a toucan? I wonder if that is actually a play on words. To can accomplish. So it's almost like this thing of things coming together that's able to break the influence of the parroting, mimicking voice and release the true prophetic. But the question I'm at, the both birds become scared and fall from the sky, is that the eagle and the parrot or the toucan, because the toucan flew it up to the eagle? Or is that the parrot? I'm not quite sure. If it's a parrot, it makes a little bit more sense. If it's the eagle, so this is talking about a prophetic person, and you know, they become scared and fall from the sky. So maybe there's an issue of fear that's being released that's trying to hinder somebody's prophetic ability. And maybe it's a prophetic that really has impacted you, touched you, because they descended on you as you float back to the ground. So there was something that was released there. Yeah, it's a question mark, because I can't quite picture that dream in my head as I'm sharing it. So I can't quite see that, which that is talking about. So, Hopefully that gives you enough that you will be able to. The parrot and the toucan are scared. I can see your comment. Thank you. Very helpful. That's perfect. That clarifies, because that's what makes the most sense in that, because the eagle talking about the prophetic calling and the genuine, that maybe there's people that have ganged up together that were trying to deal with this parroting spirit, but the real answer is the authentic prophetic, rather than just trying to remove the voice of people that are parroting what other people are saying. That's really cool. That's very, very helpful. Well, hey guys, we're getting ready for Christmas. It is coming up right around the corner, and we have a new year starting. If you have not already taken Streams Academy, I want to invite you to be part of our academy. Our academy is a discipleship mentoring program that we have where you get online with a group of people. You watch some videos on your own time, and then get together with a group of people to talk about, discuss what you're learning. There's homework that's related to it. It doesn't take a lot of time. You could expect probably about 5 hours a week or so each week, and it's done by module. And a module will take 2 months for you to go through a module. But we're starting that again this year. Now, this year, we're also starting phase 2, but you can only come to phase 2 if you've been through phase 1. Phase 2 goes a lot more in depth, a lot more hands-on, a lot more hands-on interaction, discipling, actually ministering, getting some feedback. And we're developing this discipleship program to really take people deep, to grow in the things of the Spirit, grow in the ability to discern God's voice, to understand God's voice, to respond to it, and then use the gifts that God has given you to fulfill your destiny wherever you find yourself, whether that means that you're called to be a banker, whether that is you're a business owner, whether you are working retail or working at a restaurant, or you're called into prophetic ministry. We want to help to equip you to fulfill that call and bring God's kingdom with effectiveness, with power, and with authority. So I want to invite you to be a part of Streams Academy. It is really, really helpful. If you're not able to put in that time commitment, take a look at our online classes. We've got a bunch of courses. Things were written by John Paul Jackson, things were written by me, that you can do at your own pace. And those are all available at streamstraining.com. So I wanted to make sure that you knew that was available, because we're here to help you hear God better. And whether it is interpreting dreams and helping you to recognize the process of dream interpretation so you can grow, or whether it is giving you resources so that you can interpret dreams better, one way or the other, we're here to help you hear God better. And we want to be as effective as possible. So if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you click that subscribe button and then the little notification button so that you know when we post new material, when we go live, because we're going to be continuing to make these resources available. And one of the things that we're really going to be trying to do in this next coming year is be a lot more consistent with our live videos. So even when I'm traveling, we're going to try to get someone to come in and host these live videos, whether they're doing dream interpretation or whether they're just going to do some teaching and interacting with your comments. We want to make sure that we have something consistently available to help you grow and continue to sow into your spiritual life. And I just want to leave you guys with a blessing as we end today. Father, thank you for a people that are hungry to hear you. Thank you for the dreams that you've given them. Lord, I'm asking that the dreams that have been interpreted, Lord, that they would carry revelation from you, that you would help each dreamer to recognize exactly what you were saying to them. And Lord, that you would use those interpretations to seed into every person that hears this the ability, the impartation of spiritual wisdom to interpret dreams and to understand your voice. Lord, I'm asking that you would release upon them more and more revelation. We continue to pray the answer to the prophecy of Isaiah, that you would release to your people ears to hear and eyes to see and hearts that understand, so that they could recognize what it is that you're saying and respond to your voice. Lord, would you help each person to hear you better in the name of Jesus Christ? Well, guys, I hope you have an amazing, amazing Christmas. We might be back before Christmas. I think we'll be doing one next week, but it has not gotten into the calendar yet. So I'm not going to promise you, because I don't want to say for sure, but we will be starting early in the next year, doing these consistently on a weekly basis. So you always know when to come in, and you can bring your dreams, and hopefully we'll get to one of your dreams if we've missed you this time around. God bless you guys. Have an amazing day.